I want to talk about how I'm going to hopefully maximize the benefits from testosterone replacement therapy and minimize the potential cardiac ramifications that some patients can have with it. So the first thing I'm going to do to hopefully minimize potential cardiac ramifications is take a low dose of an ARB every single day. I'm going to be taking 20 milligrams of Telmisartan every day in addition to testosterone replacement therapy. To explain why I'm taking this, it's important that you understand a little bit about what's called the RAAS. That stands for renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. To make kind of a complicated system very, very simple, it's basically how your kidneys regulate fluid balance and therefore regulate your blood pressure in your body. So let's say your blood pressure starts to go down or your fluid balance starts to go down, your body, your kidneys will release some renin. It'll allow you to maintain a little more water. If it gets a little too high, then it's tightly regulated. Okay, so it's important to understand that your body's in a balancing act. You don't want your blood pressure and fluid balance too high. You don't want it too low. You kind of want it in a safe range for biological purposes. What I've noticed with some patients through my research and some of the things that we're seeing, some people will have an increase in blood pressure when they start testosterone replacement therapy. I actually learned about this first when I was listening to The Drive by Dr. Peter Attia. He was talking about guys that start testosterone replacement therapy. Most of the issues from a cardiac perspective occur when they first start the therapy. And he was basically speculating, or at least stating, that had to do with an increase in blood pressure. So obviously when you have high blood pressure cranked all the time, that's going to lead to a myriad of issues. An increase in left ventricular hypertrophy, so your heart can actually grow. That's detrimental cardiac remodeling. Don't confuse it with how your heart changes because of exercise. It's actually to a worse extent. And it can also lead to fibrosis. So basically your heart tissue is not as pliable. These issues can lead to a heart attack. I don't want to have a heart attack. If you're watching this, you probably don't want to have a heart attack either. So I did a deeper dive into this. And I found a study, it was actually done on rats, but it makes sense why it would be preserved across the mammalian species and to humans. When they administered exogenous testosterone in some rats, they saw that testosterone was actually interacting with angiotensin 2 to increase blood pressure. And it kept the blood pressure high. So what will happen is basically it's adding like gasoline to that fire of angiotensin 2 and keeping the blood pressure high. Again, that can lead to cardiac remodeling, fibrosis, and eventually an MI, myocardial infarction. I don't want that to happen. So again, this ARB stands for angiotensin receptor blocker, will basically cool that fire off. It's not going to allow my angiotensin to get too high, hopefully. I'll regulate the dose as necessary to keep my blood pressure where it currently is, which is 110/70. Basically perfect. Okay, not everybody needs to do this. If you're a high-risk patient, it might be a good idea to prophylactically take a weak ARB like Telmisartan, like I am. But if you're a low risk or you've tried testosterone before, it doesn't impact your blood pressure, maybe that's not something that you take, but I'm going to take it because I don't know my risk factor. So I'm your quintessential bastard child. I have no idea what's going on my father's side. So they could have all types of issues with the RAAS. They could have dysfunctional angiotensin. They could have these issues that I don't know about. And I'm not about to talk to this guy because he'll probably just ask me for money. So instead, I'm just going to prophylactically take 20 milligrams of Telmisartan every single day while I administer testosterone replacement therapy. Second thing I'm going to do, this isn't medicinal, but it's something that I know I need to do because of my personal risk factor. It has to do with my cholesterol levels. So if you watch this channel, you know that my cholesterol has been all the way up to 300, which is nuts. But it runs in my family. My grandmother has high cholesterol. There's a lot of people in my family that have high cholesterol. Through dietary intervention, I'm able to keep it under 200. So I've actually dropped my cholesterol by over 100 points, and I did that through a high fiber diet. I get it. People that are on carnivore or people that are, keto, they'll tell me, oh, your cholesterol doesn't really matter as long as the LDL isn't oxidized. And I think there's an argument for that. But for me personally, I'm not going to take that risk. So I want to keep my cholesterol in the normal range. And right now it currently is. And that has a lot to do with my fiber intake. So I'm going to also keep my fiber nice and high while I'm doing testosterone replacement therapy. The third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my body weight in check. I have been up over 200 pounds. If you watch this channel, you can see that I've been like 208 pounds at one point. And when my body weight is that high, my blood pressure goes up. So I want to keep my body weight in a normal range. For me, I'm 5'9". I notice that if I start going over 190, I do start to see a little bit of an increase in my blood pressure. So if I can stay between 180 and 190 and just change my body composition for the better, get the mental sharpness that I want out of testosterone replacement therapy, then I think that's a safer way to do it than just going on a dream bulk, getting as big and as strong as possible. That would probably be awesome, but that's not the reason why I'm doing testosterone replacement therapy. I don't want to be a huge bodybuilder. I literally just want some more mental sharpness from a business perspective. I want to change my body composition for the better, and I want to be able to talk in an educated fashion with my patients here at Steele Health and Hormone Center. So if I keep my body weight in check, I think that's going to go a long way to keeping my blood pressure in check, and as a result, it's going to keep my heart healthy. Another thing I'm going to do, and this is for me personally, is cardio every single day. I already do it every single day. I do low intensity, steady state, 3 miles a day with my dog and my wife. I also do high intensity cardio twice a week. So I'll go for a hard run, and then I box and wrestle on Saturdays. I'm going to keep going with that because I do believe that high intensity cardio, in addition to low intensity cardio, those both have their benefits and they both are beneficial to the heart. Lastly, this is a little bonus. I'm also going to keep my stress in check. So I do have a lot going on. I have Wallace Fitness Center, which is a complete wellness center at this point. So we have, a 24-hour gym, small group training, personal training, sports performance. We have a chiropractor on site. We have all types of partnerships in the community. Now we have Steele Health and Hormone Center here, which I'm 50% owner in. There's a lot going on. We have a lot of employees here. We have a lot of mouths to feed, and we have a lot of patients here. So it is stressful. In addition to that, I have a child on the way, and I also have a rental portfolio that's valued over $1 million. So there's a lot going on in my life, but if I keep it in perspective, that keeps my stress much lower. There was a time where I didn't have that perspective. It was tough for me to keep my stress in line, and that also increases my blood pressure. But if I really think about it, for me personally, the problems I have are good problems to have, right? If I'm like, oh man, I have so much to do today, it's really not a problem. Oh man, I have to replace a HVAC unit in my cash producing asset. Really not a problem. Okay, real problems I really don't have right now. And I got to keep that into perspective, right? I mean, I think everybody, hopefully you can benefit from that too. We aren't starving, we aren't sick, we're literally stressed about first world things. And if I keep it into perspective, I think that's going to go a long way to helping my stress levels, helping my blood pressure, and helping my heart health. So those are the things I'm going to do. Just a quick recap. Number one, co-administering an ARB, angiotensin receptor blocker. For me personally, Telmisartan, 20 milligrams a day, very weak, very well tolerated. And I think for me personally, since I don't know my risk factor, I feel comfortable doing with this. Also, I'm working with medical professionals the entire time. Second thing, keep an eye on my cholesterol, make sure I maintain a high fiber diet. Third thing, keep my body weight in check. Fourth thing, do my cardio consistently. Fifth thing, regulate my stress. So that's how I'm going to keep my heart safe while administering testosterone replacement therapy. If you learned something in this video, do me a favor, like the video. If you're interested in content like this, subscribe to the channel. If you are in the state of Pennsylvania and you want a white glove approach to hormone replacement therapy and medical weight loss, reach out to us. I'll put our website in the description, Steele Health and Hormone Center, center spelled RE.com. Fill out a contact form and we'd love to help you out. My name is Alex Wallace. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.